We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. Cause Kristin knows blank.
This is the Kristin Knows Blank podcast, and I'm so excited today because my guest is JODIE SWEETIN from Full House, and she's going to be talking about, well, we'll get to that. Hi, guys. Thanks for listening. Please take a second to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast. However you're watching or listening, there's going to be a little button. Just push that button that says like, follow, or subscribe, because if you don't push that button, how rude. Hi, I'm Kristin Key. I'm the host of this crazy mess. You can find me through my website, kristinkey.com. There you can follow me on all my social media. Join my Patreon. I have bonus content. I have a monthly game night. It's worth it. I'm also on Cameo. So if you want to give a unique gift, I write personalized songs for everybody that get a cameo from me. Now, whoa, my guest this week. You probably remember her because she was Stephanie Tanner on Full House. She also has a hilarious and irreverent parenting podcast called Never Thought I'd Say This. Hey, computer lady, play that interview with JODIE SWEETIN.
Playing interview with JODIE SWEETIN.
All right, JODIE, thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to talk to you because I grew up on Full House, and I loved you on the show. I loved getting to work with you on SDSC. I don't know how you got involved with those Wahoos. How did you get involved with those Wahoos?
It's a pandemic story. It's one of those things where I literally met Steve Hofstetter on the internet, like through posts and through things, and like he and I started communicating, and we became like really good friends. We had each other's phone. We'd text, how's it going? What the fuck? The world's falling apart, all that kind of stuff. And he was like, would you ever want to come on this podcast or this, live show that I do is really fun. It's a bunch of comedians. And I was like, what the hell? I'll give it a whirl. And now I'm Wednesday Steve. I take over for him on Wednesdays.
Oh, that's one. I was like, you're a staple. Yeah, you're a signature piece.
It was like I was there once, and I guess there was lots of requests for me to come back, and I just really perfect the art of making fun of Ben Glebe, and it works. It's great.
It never gets old. It's so fun.
It never does.
So fun.
It never does. And I just did his Your Late Show Tonight thing. I just was a guest on that too, and may hopefully be doing one of my own in the future. So
I hope so. I was like, I guess, I didn't know much about you until I saw you on SDSC, and it was like so impressive to see how you have comedy chops. You're on a show with all comedians and comedian guests, and you can really get swallowed up in that show. And no, you just came out swinging. And yeah.
I did. I mean, that's sort of my personality anyway. So I was like, oh, this is great. It's just like a, comic green room. We're all just riffing on each other and whatever. But, I grew up around stand-up comedians, Bob and Dave, and they had so many friends who were stand-up comedians. I'm good friends with Jeffrey Ross. Like, I've just been around that so much. I just absorbed it. Like, I remember being a kid and kind of absorbing all the stuff going on around me. And, Bob Saget always gave me a really fabulous compliment and said at 5 years old, he said I had some of the best comedic timing he'd ever seen at 5 years old. He said, and it's only gotten better. So that means a lot to me because I respect him as a comedian.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. And then it's one of those comedy, I think comedy writing can be taught, but the natural fundamentals of comedy, the timing, what you bring. Yeah. It's absolutely just something that you're born with or you're not.
Yeah. You got it. And we've all seen those comics where we're like, ooh,
you're trying so hard. If you make it look hard, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's supposed to look easy. Yeah.
It's supposed to look like you're just up there bullshitting and whatever. Yeah. So it's been fun though. I mean, during this whole quarantine, I really got connected with the SDSC crew, with Ben and Chris Bowers and Steve, Rachel. Like, I've done a lot of sort of this kind of stuff too, where I'm like, oh, like a guest that was on the show, I wound up doing their podcast. I did Mike Kaplan's podcast. Yeah, it's been really fun. And for me, it's been a great exercise in comedy and in like being in that world and holding my own. So it definitely was kind of a confidence booster over this quarantine. It was the one thing that I laughed at and that I had fun with amidst some really ugly, dark, times in this past year. I had fun. And so, yeah, I've actually been really grateful for that. It's been a great time.
It's been so much fun to watch. And I guess that leads me to like, so you're a childhood sitcom star. You love comedy. You're very funny. I ask all my guests to choose a topic for us to talk about that you're super knowledgeable about. But with all that at your disposal, you chose serial killers.
It's, yeah, like serial killers, paranormal, all of that stuff. Like, I love it.
Yeah, it's
It's
fascinating.
amazing. Oh my God. My
It makes
favorite
you
murder.
more fascinating that that's what your topic was.
Yeah, I am like, I was the kid at 8 years old at the library checking out all the books on like serial killers, Amityville, haunted houses, like, all of that. I just have a stack of books and I bring home like all of this stuff about some really dark subjects. So I've always been that kid that was
Right.
like interested in the weird and the dark and I think, and my favorite murder, oh my God, one of my favorite podcasts,
It's a great podcast. Yeah.
Georgia and Karen are amazing. Yeah, so that's sort of I give me a documentary about some really gruesome murders and I am just so goddamn happy. Like,
Ooh,
I will
so
sit and watch that
have you watched
forever.
have watched and seen and listened to the Dr. Death stuff that's going on right now?
No, what is that?
Dr. Death is this wonderful podcast that turned into
Ooh.
it's a show. It's on Peacock, so now I have Peacock.
Okay. I know,
Um,
right? I have
Yeah, I
Peacock
wasn't
too
gonna
for,
get it. I was like, I'm holding out, not gonna do it. If I have to, and then
Right.
they always they lure us. They're like, but do you want to watch this doctor that kills people? I'm like,
Right.
do I?
Yeah, do I
So,
ever? Right.
This Dr. Death, there was, I guess, this one is the one that's famous right now. He was a neurosurgeon that was either just such a bad surgeon that he just kept maiming patients and killing
Oh, I
patients.
remember this guy. I heard
Right.
about him, and it was like, he was a neurosurgeon, but he was like, shouldn't have been or something, or he
Right.
like, I don't remember if he was like faking it or something. Like, there was something.
We never
really
know.
fucked up.
We're not, and it's the same one. There was a Dr. Death earlier in Europe, Harold Shipman, who I did a little shallow dive for this podcast, but I like serial
Yeah.
killers as well. But he also had, it's hard to tell whether they were just inept as a physician or if they really got off on killing people.
That's that's the thing, right? For me, like, I look at it, people are like, oh my God, they're doctors. And I'm like, dude, it's the ultimate power, which is what serial killers are all about, or killing people in general is all about, right? It's a power dynamic. It's
I
all
should
about,
ask, have you ever killed anybody? That's an important question.
I
won't tell
let's
anybody.
let's say
Nobody
no.
listens to this podcast. It's okay.
No, I have not, thankfully. I survived through my 20s and many
Are we
stupid.
Catholic, or is it
No,
just
we're not. But I just
superstition?
figure I'm gonna throw it
start
in there. I'm gonna do whatever, fucking sage some shit, because I made it through my 20s without killing anyone or myself, and that is
That's
a
fair.
fucking
That's
accomplishment.
fair.
Yeah.
That's very
Sorry,
fair.
can I say
Yeah.
the F word on this? I don't wanna...
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was quite an accomplishment. So no, I have not killed anyone, although I did think one time when I was about 18, I backed my car up like really quickly in a parking lot. I don't know why. I think that Biggie Smalls Puff Daddy video had just come out where they're driving backwards. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was trying to quickly exit an awkward moment at a 7-Eleven with my friend where this dude was hitting on us and like followed us out to the car. And I reversed really quick.
Sure.
And
it's 7-Eleven. Everybody
right,
looks
it's
good at
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
I am 18 in college. It's 7-Eleven at like fucking 11:30 on a Friday night. It's wild, right? So I back up and I hit one of those yellow poles.
Sure.
But I was like, oh my God, did I just hit somebody? Like, I thought like I nailed somebody for sure.
Right.
And so I like pull out the driveway really quick. My friend looks back. She's like, I'm pretty sure it was a pole. I'm like, great. Okay, it was a pole. It was a pole. I had to go back and check. It was a fucking pole. I swear to God, it was not like a hit and run thing. I didn't accidentally kill someone. And if anyone comes out and says otherwise, you're lying.
No, now we have proof. It's on this podcast. You said straight up, it was a pole.
Yes, it was a pole. That was it. There was yellow paint on the back of my thing, unless I hit someone dressed in a Big Bird costume. Yeah.
Right.
So I think we're okay.
If you were going to kill somebody, do you have I know I watch a lot of serial killer shit. So if you were going to kill somebody, do you have a plan with what you would do if you just found yourself with a body on hand and what would you do?
I think always really the key is to get it. You want to get away with this. Get it the fuck away from your house and your property. Like, don't bury it in your backyard. That's not,
so, yeah, that's
no.
really stupid.
And I get like for like serial killers are like, look at my garden. You know what I mean? And like,
I want to visit
creepy.
them. I want to pet their bodies.
Yeah,
Dahmer
exactly,
did that.
like-
Dahmer liked he was what I just read.
necrophiliac.
Yeah, and he said it was because he liked to possess them entirely. He
Yes.
wanted to have all of them and like to consume them, to have
I believe
sex with them.
I believe
all of
Armie Hammer said the same thing. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he said the same thing. But is that a White Claw? Is that what you're using?
No,
to get through
no.
This fucking podcast.
It's my hop tea who will not give me an influencer pack, but I keep drinking them on air anyway.
What is it?
It's tea with hops in it, so it vaguely
so
tastes like an IPA, and I don't drink. So
I don't
it's
drink
some-
either.
yeah, it's something
but
I can
like
have.
that flavor sometimes.
I just want to
okay,
be able
I'm
to
gonna check
have
that
stuff.
out.
I don't drink sugar either, so it's like I want to be able to drink something that has something in it, because I don't drink alcohol, and so it's
Right.
like, oh, I can have that. Yeah.
I feel you on that. Well, I would say, but that key is getting it away from the property. I also feel like you gotta get it in pieces. You gotta get it in pieces, and you really you've got to separate those pieces. Like, this is gonna be like a 10-day cross-country fucking trip, burying body parts. You know what I'm saying? In places way the hell out there that you don't know. Make sure you take an old car so it doesn't have GPS tracking. Leave your phone at home so that it can ping somewhere else.
Put them in coolers so they don't stink.
Leftovers. Ideally you can get like a refrigerated van or perhaps some dry ice. But you've got to do that ahead of time so that it doesn't look, suspicious. Like, oh, I always rent a refrigerated truck. So it's not like suddenly I'm renting one. Like, you got to plan this ahead of time. That's the thing. If you want to get away with it, I feel like that really involves a lot of steps and making sure.
You almost
need
to be an ice cream man for
normal.
for like a summer. Like, if you're an ice cream man for the summer, and it's like, why were you an ice cream man that summer? You're like, no reason.
Right. You're just like, because I needed the work. So anyway, you got to drive state to state, bury body parts out in far off places. And then, make sure you remove fingertips for identification. I'm feeling like you got to take teeth out too. I'm
feeling like I should not have asked you this question. This was a very
look. You said if you had. I'm only going off what I've seen other serial killers do.
Sure. No, that's all. Like, that's
right. And my copious notes. No, yeah. Don't mind the maps in the background. And you got to use paper maps. Like, don't be fucking Googling shit. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go analog. This is not the time to be, Google searching and Yelp reviewing fucking places that you go.
No, they check your browser history and that stuff come back. Like, do you watch Dateline?
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. It's always the browser history. I mean, you got to kind of be part hacker, part ice cream man, part psychopath, part really good planner. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to cover, really.
Wow. So as a parent, I feel like you have a lot of this. You're a good planner. You know how to read a map. Seen some ice cream trucks. You can do this.
I can't. Yeah. Well, should I ever find myself in this position, I think I think I might have a plan.
That's another question. If you did find, like, all the serial killers that I read about, they really do work alone. They don't have accomplices often if they're they never have accomplices. So would you ever have someone to be like, will you help me bury this
Absolutely
or
not.
chop up this?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, because they're going to be the first person to blow your cover. You can't, if you're going to commit to it, you've got to be a loner. And I would say start, you would totally blow me.
I'm so sorry. That was secrets. I mean, I would say I was going to help you. I'd be like, yes, Jodie, I'm in. Let's do this cross-country body delivering, and then as soon as we get them, like, I told the cops already. We're in trouble.
I told them.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the old saying, 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. So it really. Have you never heard that saying?
No, but I'm going to say that creepily to someone soon.
3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead.
Wow.
I guess you could also, go down to 2 can keep a secret if 1 is dead. But 3 sounds a little more like you've got really something going on.
Yeah.
A little more imposing.
You have 2 more bodies to dispose of now.
Fuck. It's just, that's what happens. They keep piling up. Like you start with one and now you're like, fuck, now I got to get these guys because now they know. And so then I really think that's how it piles up. You're like, I started with one, now I got 17. I mean, fuck.
Well, that's another question. Most the serial killers I always looked at, it's not just like 4 or 5. They go as many as they can. They really do kill until they get caught.
It's interesting to watch sort of this succession. Like I watched the Night Stalker documentary, which was fascinating, and then I also went down to the Hotel Cecil in downtown. That's a whole other story. The really super haunted one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like watching that and watching the Night Stalker and also watching the California, the guy that was I don't think it was BTK, but it was the one, he was like an ex-cop and all this stuff, and he went and like murdered people really horrifically. It's interesting to watch them like start, it's like one, and then like maybe a month later another, and then you can see this like progression of them needing to feel that again. It just becomes more. I mean, I think it's a power thing. I think most serial killers are highly narcissistic, and that brain, like how does that brain work? You know what I mean? It's so atypical. That's fascinating to me.
Yeah, like what separates a killer from a regular human being that thinks like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, and you're like, but I'm not.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's and then you look back, it's usually some sort of history of trauma or some all kinds of stuff. Not excusing the behavior, but finding out some really interesting stuff about how that kind of perpetuates. So for me, it's like a mental health thing. It's a fascination with, I don't know, surviving something horrific. They say women like true crime and murder stories and stuff because they are so often the targets.
Right.
That watching it somehow empowers you to feel like, now I know when I'm in a parking garage, I have my keys out and my mace. Now I know when I have which sucks. That's the thing, but unfortunately that is what it is. But I think it's interesting that they've found that that's why women tend to be drawn to true crime.
True crime. Yeah. All the male comics I work with always tease me and any female comics because we're always watching SVU. What are you watching? SVU. SVU's on. Right. Yeah, always on. It's like, how can you watch it and go to sleep? I was like, it makes me feel safe.
Right. Yeah. You're like, right. Because I think it taps into that like survivalist thing. Yeah. Where you're like, oh, I know what the worst possible outcome could be. Like, I know now how dark it could be. So I'm going to be okay. Cause that's, I've seen it. You know what I mean? Somehow it's like a weird thing in your brain where you feel more in control of it, I think.
Why aren't there more female serial killers? Can we do this? Can we just be calling all women, start killing more people? Because it seems like the numbers are low.
The numbers are low, and I think it tends to be sort of part of the profile of killers, and usually white men in their 20s to 30s, right? I mean, it's kind of always the problem, but everywhere in everything. But
they have trouble with their feelings. They have trouble processing feelings. Is it maybe because women are better with their feelings, and so it's like I'm going to kill you, or you know what? I'm going to cry about it and feel better, and guess what? Now I don't need to kill you anymore.
I think it tends to be that women are more empathetic. We have more, nurturing, like that sort of, and whether that's nature or whether that's sort of the determined societal box that we're supposed to fit in. I think women tend to be more caretakers, and I think that is why it's so different. But I mean, look at Eileen. Oh my God,
Wuornos.
Wuornos. Yes.
Yeah, Wuornos.
Yeah, she went for it.
Wow.
But again,
Charlize Theron was so good. Oh, wow.
But again, like watching documentaries and reading about her and stuff, like such a history of immense trauma, sexual trauma, all of that. And she was just like, I'm gonna kill all these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And like,
I was rooting for her. I'm like,
as a woman, you're kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, it's really terrible to kill people, but I kind of
give her a pass.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She was nice about it. She was real honest.
She tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that tends to be the thing, is that it's just not as, and I think it's, like it or not, harder for women to overpower.
Sure.
Men. But there are, oh my God, a gigantic hawk just flew into my fucking backyard.
Do you have any dogs or cats back there?
I have a giant dog.
Okay. Well, that would be
So,
awful if the hawk picked up
But
that
I'm
dog.
like, oh my, like it just like swooped down over my pool. I'm like, holy shit. Anyway.
It's not an omen, I don't think.
Right? Now it's just sitting on my fence staring at me. Oh my God. If
And
it
your house
starts
is
saying
spitting.
like, if it starts saying nevermore, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. Goddamn Raven. I actually fall asleep to that. I play the Raven and Edgar Allan Poe poetry sometimes to fall asleep. So
Okay.
that's a little extra dark. I forgot what I was talking about. I apologize. I talk a lot.
Boy, I got lost in your hawk. Yeah. Oh, female
Right?
serial killers. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were talking about that. Like it or not, it's sort of hard to overpower
Right.
people. So you kind of have to target other women, and that I don't know.
Oh, that's not cool. Don't do that,
That's
female
not cool,
serial
right.
killers. No.
But I see there are like nurses and things like that are often talked about that we don't consider serial killers because it's maybe not as brutal or whatever. But there is a fair amount of history of women in healthcare, nurses, home care people, stuff like that, continually killing off their elderly patients.
That was what
You know?
the Harold Shipman, the other Dr. Death in
Yeah.
Europe, that's what he did. All of his patients were elderly, but they happened to be in perfect health until he found them. And then he would, of course, falsify their death certificates to say, like, they had this. But
Right.
once he had been executed and they found out that he had killed over 250 people. Oh, it's fascinating. I mean, go down the Dr. Death rabbit hole. And there's a Dr. Death podcast that is now in season 2. And season 1 is great. Christopher Dunch, the neurosurgeon. Season 2 was this oncologist that just kept diagnosing everybody with cancer and giving them chemo. And then
and not needing it.
Yeah. So.
Well, I always wonder too, like stuff like that. I'm like, is it for the money? You know what I mean? Like, did they get
power?
And power? It's such a it's a weird power trip. And that's, I think, what I don't get about serial killers, which is why I'm fascinated by it. Like, what is that desperate need to be so powerful? Most of them, like, there's like this weird God complex, I mean, Ted Bundy was a perfect example. Richard Ramirez, perfect example of sort of that weird God complex.
Yeah.
I am larger than life and I am so powerful that I can take or give life. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy.
It is.
But fascinating to me.
It is. I mean, it is. Because it's just, I don't know, you wonder what makes their brain different than my brain. Or is my brain like that? Could I become that? What separates us?
Well, and I think also sometimes, like for me, like I'm like, oh, let me look at the background. I'm like, oh my God, this person had horrific trauma or this and that. And then I'm like, wait, do I feel sorry for them? I can't do that. They killed, but there's this weird like confrontation of, oh my God, this brain was formed by so much horrific trauma and, all of this stuff. And then of course you're going to get a really fucked up outcome.
But you've got people that also had horrific trauma that turn it into amazing positivity that become like, life coaches and shit,
And that's the thing, is like that personality of that psychopathy, and complete lack of empathy and all of that stuff. It's fascinating to me. And it's weird because like, people will be like, oh yeah, my son, was like skinning rabbits or like doing weird shit. And you're like, yeah, that's that's a warning sign for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Don't do that. That's a red flag. Okay. Well, it is clear that you are very adept at serial killers, but I cannot let you leave the podcast without asking you 5 quick questions.
It's time for 5 quick questions.
All you have to do is tell me, is this the title of a Dateline episode or the title of a Goosebumps book?
Oh, I used to love the Goosebumps book. I read all of them, but it's been a while and my brain probably has holes in it by now.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Okay, here we go. Question 1. Piano lessons can be murder.
Dateline.
That was Goosebumps. Oh my God. Right out the bat. Yeah, that was a Goosebumps book.
God damn it.
Piano lessons can be murder. Okay, so far you are 0-1. Number 2. The Mystery on Blood Mountain. Dateline or Goosebumps?
Now, see, that sounds like Goosebumps, but I feel like that might be a trick and it's actually a Dateline. Oh God, you know what? I'm going to say Dateline again.
That is Dateline. That is
Yes!
correct. That is a Dateline's episode.
Yes!
Excellent. You're doing so well. 1 and 1.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounded like something that a producer was like, "Ooh, you guys have got an idea." Right. All right.
Number 3. The Beast from the East.
Goosebumps.
That is a Goosebumps. That is a Goosebumps.
'Cause
All
I
right.
think I remember reading that one. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I never know if you're going to be into Dateline or Goosebumps, but since you're into both,
I was into both. So yeah.
Number 4. Number 4. The Secret of the Snake River. Dateline or Goosebumps?
Secret of the Snake River. I feel like that's a Goosebumps.
That's Dateline. That was a Dateline.
Almost said Dateline too, and then I was like, no, I did not. See, it's so hard.
It makes it so fun for me because I'm always rooting against you for some reason. I'm like, yes,
I know.
look at
Yeah, you're
Jody.
like, yeah, I won. I mean, I didn't win anything, but you suck. Yeah, no, I'm terrible at trivia games too. If I always lose Full House trivia games because I'm terrible at it. So that's
Oh my
the
God.
amazing part.
That's hilarious. Okay, this is it. This is for all the marbles. You're 2 and 2. This is to
my
put you
God.
over the top. Number
Oh
5.
my God. Okay.
It Came from Beneath the Sink. Dateline or Goosebumps?
Goosebumps.
That was a Goosebumps.
Yes.
All right,
Won.
well
I
done
won,
for
I won, I
redeeming
won.
yourself.
Oh my God.
Well done, well done. You've chit-chatted with me about your love of serial killers. You have played my 5 quick questions. Now it's my favorite part of every episode, and that's where we play a Rad Lib together. And now it's time for Rad Libs. So here's what happened. I've written a story and I've left out some parts of speech. If you give me those parts of speech together, we're gonna make a hilarious story. Are you ready to play Rad Libs?
I am ready to play.
Yes. Okay. I need a body part.
Pinky toe.
Yes. Yes. Not like I'm grading you. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Yes. I need a verb.
Shimmy.
Oh
Shimmying.
my God. Yes.
I'm trying to go abstract and really weird because I know that that's always the best thing to do with a rad lib is like pick something obscure because it's gonna get fucking weird. Anything having to do with true crime and shimmying is like,
Your instincts are correct.
yeah, just a little shimmy
A
away from
liquid.
the dead body, right?
Oh,
A
yeah.
liquid, hand sanitizer.
Yes, that is a liquid. Oh, that fits really well there too. A guilty pleasure.
Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't watch
Yes.
it, but I'm just gonna go with it because I know that it's
That
pretty
is a
big.
guilty pleasure. An adjective.
An adjective, green.
Excellent. That
Describe
is an
something.
adjective. Animal, plural.
Hedgehogs.
Yes. Oh, I love hedgehogs. They're so
I do
cute.
too. I follow Mr. Pokey on Instagram. He's very cute.
Aw. I heard the story about were they hedgehogs? I believe it was hedgehogs. This hedgehog family, the mother had orphaned these baby hedgehogs, and the hedgehogs found a hairbrush and thought it was their mother, and yeah,
And snuggled up to it.
yes, basically they treated the hairbrush like their mother. Yeah. A verb.
Running.
Run. Excellent.
Run,
A plural noun.
Trees.
A relative.
Cousin.
Excellent. Yes, yes. A TV
Yes.
star.
A TV star.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Perry.
That's so funny. I feel like last week the guest said Matt LeBlanc for some reason.
Oh. I was just like, think of popular TV shows. I was like, yeah, that. It was either that or Jerry Seinfeld. So I picked.
Love it. We know what year it is in your brain.
Yeah.
Ooh, the
yeah.
title of a TV show.
Title of a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Magnum PI.
A city.
Philadelphia.
Okay, this is a tough one. I don't know, I'm not great at grammar, so I'm not sure which part of speech this is. I need a noun ending in ER. So basically a verb, but you add an ER and it becomes a noun. So
Like a
baker or
like a painter.
like a painter. Painter. Perfect.
There's a specific word for that, and I'm trying to think of what it is.
I feel like I need like a 10 or 11-year-old to be like, it's a me.
Right.
Because
I need one of those, in college you get those stupid like books of how you have to format all of your stuff. Oh my God,
Yes.
so annoying.
A number.
72.
Occupation.
Podiatrist.
Yes. That's a foot doctor, right?
Yep.
Not a kid doctor. That's a pediatrician.
Pediatrician, right.
Right,
Podiatrist
right.
deals with feet.
What if it was a child doctor that just specialized on their feet?
Be a pediatric podiatrist.
I wish I knew it. That sounds really smart. Okay. Need a noun.
A noun, curtain.
Yes. Are you just looking at stuff around your house now?
Pretty fucking much. Yep, that's just what I'm doing.
We're near the end. I need an article of clothing.
Sock.
Adjective ending in ER.
Cuter.
Yes. Okay. An increment of time.
17 minutes.
Oh, yeah. A body part?
Nostril.
Yes. A phrase.
How rude.
Of course. Best podcast ever. We have a story. We have a fantastic story. JODIE SWEETIN. And your story is just called Profiling a Serial Killer.
Oh boy.
Oh my
I can't
God.
wait.
To understand a killer, you must first get inside their pinky toe. What drove them to murder? Did their mother not shimmy them enough? Were they blacked out on hand sanitizer? Or addicted to Real Housewives of Atlanta? As a child, did they do green things to hedgehogs?
That sounds so horrible. I don't know what that is, but it's bad.
Well, I've sat down with a few serial killers and asked them questions like, how do you run at night? Or, where did you bury those trees? I'm always surprised by their answers. One man said he killed his cousin because they looked too much like Matthew Perry. They called him the Magnum PI murderer.
That is the most fabulous, nonsensical sentence ever.
The most famous murderer I ever interviewed was the Philadelphia painter. Oh, wow, that does sound scary.
Ooh, I like that.
He made headlines when he murdered 72 podiatrists. He would stab his victims with a sharp curtain. Must have folded it.
Really tightly.
He was cuter than most criminals. To avoid leaving evidence, he always wore a sock. It took the police 17 minutes to catch him. Every time I talk to a serial killer, I leave scratching my nostril, saying, how rude.
That is fabulous. That is the best rad lib ever. I love it.
Oh my God, well, I enjoyed it so much. JODIE, before I let you go, tell everybody about your podcast and where they can find you and follow you and what you've got coming up.
Absolutely. I have a parenting podcast, it's really me and my best friend, Celia Behart. It's a super inappropriate look at parenting. It's basically all the things that as parents you want to say, but you're kind of probably not supposed to say. Well, we say it. And it's called Never Thought I'd Say This. And we have fun guests. We've got all kinds of stuff on the show. So you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Never Thought I'd Say This. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JODIE SWEETIN, and Facebook is at official JODIE SWEETIN. And I just posted my first TikTok today, which is at JODIE SWEETIN. I'm now on TikTok. My daughter said she's gonna help me with it because I'm really fucking useless at it. So prepare for probably some embarrassing TikToks and follow me on there at JODIE SWEETIN.
I will. I absolutely am going to. Thank you
Yes.
so much for doing this today.
You're so welcome. This was a blast. It was really fun.
Interview complete. Googling ice cream trucks, trash bags, and how to chop off fingertips.
Okay, I'm officially afraid of Computer Lady. Well, thanks again, JODIE SWEETIN, for coming on. So nice of you to do that and so fun to have you on. Guys, thank you for listening to this podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe to the Kristin Knows Blank podcast. Find me online, KristinKey.com. Follow me on all my social media. Join my Patreon to support this and all my shows. There's a monthly game night, bonus content from this episode, which is really awesome, and it's worth it. So each week, I'm going to be bringing you a hilarious or fascinating person. We chit chat, we play 5 quick questions, do a rad lib, and then everybody goes home happy. So until next time, bye.
We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna talk to some people, gonna learn a lot of stuff. 'Cause Kristin knows blank.